there, welcome back to my channel. This is just going to be a really quick video on a couple of things with keto that I didn't mention in my last video. Trying to do keto and going through this transition. There's definitely a lot of information and a lot of things that are new. It's easy to forget some, so I thought I would go over a few of them real quick. So starting out with keto, like the number one thing that I've come across is you have to have less than 50 grams of carbs. There's a lot of people that are like, oh, I work out so hard, I can go up to 100 grams, or a lot of people that are hardcore keto that are like, you have to have less than 20 grams. But I see the general rule everywhere is less than 50 grams per day. Now there's different grams of carbs. Like, it gets more complicated than just tracking your carbs. There's net carbs and there's gross carbs. So your gross carbs are recording any carb that you eat. So if I have like 3 ounces of strawberries, it's, you know, like 7 or 8 grams of carbs. If I have you know, some dark chocolate, it'll have carbs in it. If you have lettuce, it has carbs in it. Like, there's carbs hiding everywhere. I just straight record the carbs. In my FitnessPal, I do have a carb manager app, but I haven't used it yet because the truth is I'm vain. I have a ginormous streak going on my FitnessPal. I don't want to break it. I really like the app. I paid for the premium, so there's no ads and I can record more specific stuff. I don't have it in me to record it twice, and I don't feel like giving up my FitnessPal right now. So if you want to go more in depth and you're not hardcore my FitnessPal, you can go into one of these other apps and they will record net carbs, which is regular carbs minus dietary fiber that's in those carbs. So if I was eating lettuce and it had 3 grams of carbs, but 2 grams of it was dietary fiber, then technically it's only 1 gram of carb that I actually have to record towards my limit. That's for people that are really hardcore into keto and are, you know, have got everything down. I'm still a beginner, so I'm just gonna go with the basic 50 grams and hope if I go over, which I did like a couple times this week by like 2 or 3 grams, that those dietary carbs kick in and I really didn't go over, but I'm not sure. So right now, 50 grams of carbs. I track it in my FitnessPal. I weigh everything. I used to do, you know, like if I ate strawberries, it would be like 1 medium strawberry is about 4 calories, you know, kind of thing. When you're going down to the macro level and not just like basic calories, you really need to weigh everything because it changes drastically depending on like the half ounce. So weigh it because it just makes such a difference. So I have my scale out constantly. I have a little bowl on it that I have zeroed out, and then whenever I make anything, like I make a big ass salad for lunch a lot, I will weigh out every ingredient I put in there and then record it as I'm doing it. Because let me tell you, if you're weighing out like 4 or 5 ingredients and something's like 2 3/4 ounces and another one is 3 3/8 ounces, you're gonna forget what each ingredient was real fast. So I have my FitnessPal open every time I eat. I have the scale right there and I start weighing and recording as I go. That's the best way I found to do it. A lot of people, when they get better at this, can kind of just eyeball it. But for me, because I get close to 50 grams of carbs every day, I really need to make sure that I've got my numbers right. So my FitnessPal or Carb Manager app, 50 grams of carbs, weigh your food. Because you will be surprised at how many carbs are hidden in the most random places. Another thing that is really big with keto is intermittent fasting, and this is something that I did not talk about really in my last one. I was not going to do this. I have Crohn's disease. I go through flares, mild or otherwise, on a regular basis. I'm actually starting one right now because my insurance company is trying to say I don't need meds. So I am past my infusion day. Symptoms started up yesterday. That makes it harder for me to eat. And then therefore I end up intermittent fasting without meaning to, just because I have to time when I eat to make sure I don't leave the house, because I will feel awful right after I eat. So like, take the kid to school this morning, I couldn't even have my bulletproof coffee because I knew that was going to cause me to have some abdominal distress. So I had to wait until after I took her to school in order to have that little bit of fat to keep me going. But so that was one of the main reasons I didn't want to do it, because I involuntarily have to do it on a regular basis. But reading through all the keto blogs and Facebook pages and books, it seems like keto and intermittent fasting go hand in hand. Intermittent fasting causes you to go into ketosis more, because you're forcing your body to rely on the fat that is producing the ketones, all that good stuff. So you get more of a edge keto wise, but I also found some other benefits that now that I'm reading through the blogs, I see more basis for, and that is it helps with my calorie burns when I work out. Now, when I first started intermittent fasting, mind you, if I work out first thing in the morning, I cannot eat. It makes me ill. So I used to work out what would be considered fasted all the time. But I also had a really hard time getting my heart rate up. And I found that that was the time of day. I cannot get my heart rate up if I work out really early in the morning. My body's just not ready for it. So I started working out later, and I started going to the 9:30, now the 9:15 class. I had an easier time getting my heart rate up and burning more calories. But it was still a difficult thing. I have a very healthy heart. I have very low blood pressure. You put the two together, and it's really hard for me to get my heart rate up. I started intermittent fasting, and not eating and going to work out at 9:30 in the morning was a little difficult at first. I started out going slower and lighter because I was still feeling a little weak and dizzy going through the keto flu and all that. But once it kicked in, it's amazing. And now I'm reading all these people's posts that say that running fasted, working out fasted, like everything, like it ups their game so much, and that's the only way they can do it. And I see what they're talking about. I can get in the like red zone, the top heart rate zone, just by like pretty much doing jumpy jacks, our very first thing we do. As soon as I started fasting, I started living in the red and yellow zone, which are our top two heart rate zones in my zone. And the only thing that's different is I was fasting. So it's amazing for that. I went from burning like maybe 450 calories for a really good workout to I burned like 700 the last time I worked out. Well, not the last time, because that was right after the IUD, and that was a bad one. But one of the last times I had a really good workout, like red zone the entire time. It's just amazing. So if you're worried about working out while you're fasted, don't be. It takes a week or two to adjust, but after that, it's amazing. You get through it fine, and it really helps with your calorie burn, and working out fasted actually helps put you into ketosis even more because you're burning all that stuff. So intermittent fasting is a really huge part of keto. I fast about 16 hours a day. That's my goal. And a lot of times I'll go past it. I think I made it to like 17 and a half hours yesterday, only because other things come up when my fasting time is over. Like, I'm not ready to eat yet. I'm in the middle of something. I've got to go out and do something. So I'll just wait longer. And on keto, you're not feeling as hungry as you normally would burning through carb fuel, your fat fuel is a slower, longer burning thing. So I don't really have a problem too long. Like most of my friends are fasting closer to like 20 hours. I could probably get there, but I've got more stuff going on in that time frame. My schedule, 16 hours works kind of best, and that's kind of like the minimum for intermittent fasting. I do use a fasting app called Life Fasting. It's very basic. You hit start, and that's the start of your fast, and you have your fast goal, and so it tells you when it ends, and then your phone dings like, hey, you're ready to eat now when your fasting time is up. But let me tell you, when you're fasting, you have your eye on that clock most of the time. You don't really need the app to tell you when it's over. I use that. It also tracks like how long it figures you're in ketosis because of the fasting, and it tracks all your fasts so you can see how well you're doing. Pretty basic, free app. It works. So I've been intermittent fasting the entire time. It seems to help out. It's a huge part of keto. I'm still looking into it. I'm still learning a lot of stuff, but definitely something that you should look into if you're wanting to do keto. I did get the keto monitor, the Keto Mojo. I'm having trouble with it only because I seem to be dehydrated. So no matter how many times I stick my stupid fingers, they don't bleed, and then I can't do the monitor, and by the time I get it there, it's like malfunctioning. It's like, nope, sorry, you took too long, or the contaminated sample or something. So the last couple times I've tried it, my readings came in low. It just says low, like it doesn't even give you one. It's just like, you're low. And I think that was because the blood samples got messed up, because I was seriously pricking like 4 or 5 fingers just trying to get enough blood in order for this thing to read it. So I've started drinking more water so I can get my hydration levels up. I have been very bad on that. As something else that you're supposed to be doing while you're fasted is drinking a lot of water, and I'm having trouble because it's June gloom here in California, and it's just not fun drinking cold or even lukewarm water when it's cold out. Like, it's just not what you want to do. So I end up drinking water in the afternoon when it warms up a little bit, but by that time it's too late to catch up. So Keto Monitor is an awesome way to check your ketones. Intermittent fasting helps out with your ketosis. Get under 50 carbs a day. I say stick with the gross until you're really, really into it, because the whole net thing will probably mess you up. I've been making a lot of food out of Maria Emmerich's cookbooks. I highly recommend them. I just bought them for my mother for Mother's Day because that's what she requested, and it got delivered a couple hours ago, so I should be getting a text any minute telling me, thank you so much for these books that I asked you to buy me a few days ago. What else is there? Yeah, you don't feel all that hungry most of the time. My husband thinks I'm starving myself because he sees me eat just something small, and I'm like, it was full of fat. Like, I literally can't eat another bite. I am so full. And he's like, you have to eat more. No, my food choices have changed. Like, if I'm not filling myself up with carbs that I will burn through really fast, and instead of filling myself up with fat that is slow burning and healthy for my body, I'm not going to be as hungry, and I'm not going to be able to eat as much. Let me tell you, I used to snack a lot when I first started keto, and now I'm not even really doing that. So I do eat a lot of calories in the meals I do eat. It just doesn't look like a lot of food, but fat has 9 calories per gram versus protein and carbs, which only have 4. So even though you're not eating more, your calories are higher. So if you're going to stay under your calories, which is something else I do with keto, you have to stay within your calories. Even when you're on keto, you can't just, go hog wild. The calorie deficit thing still works. You're not going to really want to eat all that much, but you'd still get up into the 1900s in the calories. So I go by my basal metabolic rate, which I get on my InBodies, And mine usually comes in around 1600. It depends on how much muscle you're carrying, with how many calories your body needs to consume each day to survive. So I think I have my FitnessPal set at like 1640. I try to stay around there for my calories and just make them keto calories. And then watch my carbs on my nutritional macro breakdown, make sure that I'm under 50. I think that's it for now. That has been the extent of my keto journey. One of the things you need to do is find all the ingredients that you need for keto. I basically went through the cookbooks and found the basic ingredients that were everywhere: almond milk, coconut milk, the different kinds of almond flour, coconut flour, coconut butters, all that. I just went through all of them, looked at all the recipes that looked good to me, and just went to Amazon and started like adding things to my cart as I went through the books until I had everything. And then you're all set for keto. So anyway, I guess this isn't as short as I thought it was going to be. I'm sorry about that. But if you stayed with me to the end, thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys later. And hope you have fun on your keto journey. I seem to be having fun on mine. Bye.